In a world where we often find ourselves waiting for someone to come and save us, it's time to embrace one powerful truth. I hate to tell you this, but no one is coming. The answer is you. Welcome to the podcast that empowers you to take charge of your life and unleash your true potential. I'm your host, Ofri Fuchs, and I'm thrilled to embark on this transformative journey with you. So, if you're ready to embark on a journey full of self-discovery, growth, and actually take responsibility for your life, then you're in the right place, and I'm so glad you're here. Now let's rock and roll.
Hello, and welcome to No One Is Coming, The Answer Is You. This is the second episode of my podcast. Welcome, my name is Ofri Fuchs, and this was not in my schedule. This episode is very raw, very fresh, and I did not plan for this to be my second episode, but life is life. And because I decided that this podcast is going to be extremely open, honest, and sometimes vulnerable, I decided not to shy away from the truth and share with you guys an episode about grief. And the reason for this is because I lost my father 10 days ago. Not even 9 days ago. And I just came out of Shiva, which if you are familiar with Jewish tradition, it is a tradition where you have 7 days. Shiva is 7 in Hebrew. It's 7 days of mourning. People come together and they talk about the deceased. They come. You're supposed to do nothing. There's more extreme ways, the more religious ways to do this. I am not religious, so we didn't do the proper way to do Shiva, and this is exactly what I want to share with you guys. Today's episode is about grief, but it's about alternative ways of grieving. And I want to share with you the path to what led to not my father's passing, but after my father's passing, to one of the most beautiful times, and it's odd to say about someone's passing that it's beautiful, but it really was truly beautiful and memorable. And we created it, me and my family, we created it as the way it should be. My brother described it comme il faut, but it's our comme il faut. It's the way we think it should be. And the reason I'm bringing this forward to you is because the name of this podcast is No One Is Coming, The Answer Is You, meaning that you have all the answers. You have all the answers as to what is true for you. And I know that if some of you guys are extremely religious, what is true for you is to go and create your ceremonies based upon Jewish, Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, whatever it is that your belief system is, based on that tradition, and that is true for you. And by all means, I think that's the right thing to do. But if you have any questions about whether or not, and I encourage you to have questions about what it is that feels true for you. And not last week, I skipped a week because of my father's passing, but the previous episode was about responsibility and choosing. And again, I come back to that, to the choice that we have in our lives and also in our death. So, yes. This might be a little bit uncomfortable. This might be a little bit raw for some of you guys. This might be a little personal for you guys. But I would like you to listen to this with an open heart and an open mind, and to see where you can find yourself in what I'm about to say and share with you guys. So yes, the pain of losing a parent is still fresh, and I'm still processing, and maybe perhaps for some of you, it may be a very, very delicate and sensitive subject to touch upon. But I made a conscious choice to honor my father in a way that was appropriate and suitable for the 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 lifestyle that we had, or what felt true to my brother and I and our family, true to our spirit, true to his belief system, and true to the fact that we choose to celebrate life. And sometimes traditional mourning practices, they don't quite capture someone's life. And during the Shiva, this is where you're supposed to talk about the deceased. You're supposed to talk about his life. You're supposed to support, bring up memories, laugh if you choose to. Not always, not all people feel comfortable laughing in a Shiva. Some people, turn down the lights and, put the blinds and cover their TV system. I did not find that appropriate. I was deeply focusing on how I can create this to be a memorable experience that would walk with me and help me think back at this time as a time of gratitude. So, first things first, we chose to cremate my dad. We chose to spread his ashes in nature, close to his brother's grave, which was his dying wish. He wanted to be buried close to him. It wasn't possible, so we did the best way possible. But at the ceremony, we call it his goodbye ceremony, we brought together all the people that he worked with and that loved him and that cherished him, and we honor his memory. We honored his memory close to the beach, where the air was fresh, the breeze, was breezing, the wind was breezing, and there was a lot of laughter. There was a lot of hugs and tears of appreciation for his life, and a lot of really good memories that came up with the speeches that people gave. It was a beautiful day. It was sunny. It was the beach was beautiful. The people were beautiful. We did not ask anyone to come in black clothing. We put songs to yes, you can cry, and yes, you can be sad, and you should be, because this is life. But truly, death is a part of life, and as everything else, it should be appreciated. So we surrounded together, we got together, we gathered together close to nature. We spread his ashes in nature, and we spoke from our hearts. I left nothing with me. I spoke to him, I thanked him, I apologized. I celebrated him for the lessons. Sometimes relationships are difficult, and I celebrated the lessons that I've gotten from his being, from being his daughter, and the impact that he had on my life that brought me to this point. And I want you to look inwards and see where it is that sometimes you go by tradition, or it doesn't even have to be religious. It could be just an automatic system that you just automatically do. You choose something that is not really your deep desire, but society or your surroundings or your parents dictate something that you should choose and go by and abide by, but it's not your true calling. It's not your true heart. It's not where you're called to go. So I want you to look inwards and see where it is that you can choose to maybe go differently. And I have to say that the way we chose to do our ceremony raised a few eyebrows, and people were a little hesitant, even though it doesn't contradict the Jewish tradition, but there's a certain way that you bury someone, and we didn't abide by that. And at the end of the ceremony, people were coming to me and hugging me and saying, this was one of the most emotional and memorable ceremonies and celebrations of someone's life. And this is the way I want to go. Literally, people said to me, this is the way I want to go. So I know I created impact by listening to my heart, my brother's heart, and the way we choose to live our lives. I want to speak about one more thing. It's about perspective. When I tried to go back and teach, and I came to my first class after a week of being away, people came to me and with a very sad face, and they wanted to hug me. And there's an automatic system that goes when you think you know where someone is at or what they need. And there's a certain behavior that we carry into a certain situation. And by perspective, I mean the way you view things, okay? The lenses that you put on. If you are looking to create happiness, if you are looking to create support, if you are looking to create encouragement, if you are looking to create empowerment, then be that. This goes back to being. Who you're being creates everything. If you want to come to a situation and create it differently, you have to come being that thing. And when people were coming to me and they were extremely sad and I'm sorry for your loss and so forth, I was not in that state. And I didn't want to go and be pulled into that state. So just observe how much you create someone else based on your story. Okay? This is like my little input for you. And lastly, I want to talk about whether it's a journey of grief that you will go through, because we will all go through it, or any type of loss, or any type of change. It could be a divorce, or it could be leaving a country. It could be any type of dramatic change that was basically forced upon you without your choosing, that has a lot of negative impact, meaning negative emotions, heavy emotions, sadness, sometimes anger, sometimes despair, sometimes fear about what the future will hold. I want to give you a few alternative ways to cope with it. And because sometimes we spiral down and we don't really, and this is me in this last week, it's very difficult sometimes to assess what it is that you're feeling and what it is that you're going through. And you just have this heavy weight on your shoulders and you don't really know what you're feeling and you don't really know how to get out of it. So firstly, I want to offer you some artistic expression, which means if you have any sense of a tendency for arts, use them. This is the time to use them. So whether it's through writing, through painting, drawing, pottery, just channel your emotion into something creative outside of you. That's very powerful, and that creates really a sense of release and helps you with your healing journey. Okay. The second thing, and this is something that is one of my all-time favorites, I used it every day in this period, is nature. Nature is healing. There's actually a thing called nature therapy. So just go outside, spend time outdoors. If you are a walker or a runner and you can do anything outdoors, barefoot especially, go. If you like gardening, hiking, just sit outside and look at the sun or the birds or the trees, do it. Nature is healing. It's one of the highest energy frequencies in the world. Use nature. It will do what you need it to do. You don't have to ask for anything. You don't have to set a goal. You don't have to create anything. It just happens automatically, and it automatically makes you feel better and calmer and more safe. Music and movement. It depends on your mood. Music can be it can wrap you with the healing sounds. It can be a frequency music, or it could just be favorite songs. You can go back to whoever it is that you're grieving and yours favorite songs. You can go, like when I was teaching the other day, I deliberately put happy songs on because I did not want any interference to my frequency. I wanted to be focused. I wanted to be of service, and music can really help support you in these times. And especially if you're playing, then that goes back to the artistic outing, the artistic healing. Do play, attend a live concert, feel the rhythm in your body. That's amazing. And also movement. If you can dance or even work out, or just, like I said, hike or walk around, that's also brilliant. And lastly, my all-time favorite is mindfulness and meditation. It doesn't have to be extreme meditation. It was very difficult for me to meditate in this last week, 10 days. But just stopping and just listening or breathing, or there were moments where I was just trying to feel the energy that's surrounding me. Anything that's a pause and that's a let go of all the stress and the bottled up emotions any way possible is an immediate healing methodology. So it can be just breath. It could be just, grounding. It could be putting your fingers together, and that works both sides of the brains together, and that's immediate grounding. It could be walking barefoot or sitting barefoot on grass. Just any type of just listening to guided meditations, whatever it is that works for you, find your way to go back in. So I'm still on this journey. I think grieving and processing someone's passing is a change. And it's also when something, there's that's famous saying, when a door shuts, a window opens, and so forth. I believe any change is as hard as it may be, there's a sense of release that happens. Something is gone, so there's something else that can come in. And it doesn't mean that it will fill the void. It will not. But it also doesn't mean that we have to keep looking at the void. And we are able to do both. We are able to hold the void, bless it, be grateful for it, and we are also able to choose to grow from it, choose to learn from it, choose to take it and say, who am I now that this void is existent? What is there more of me to fill? Who am I to be now that this shift has happened in my life? Where's my next step of personal, spiritual, emotional growth? So if you're going through a time of grief and time of loss, I want to give you a virtual hug, and I want to celebrate you for the journey that you're on. And remind you that no one is coming. The answer is you. But it's not about like, oh my God, I'm all alone. No, you have everything and anything you need within you. Trust yourself. It's a beautiful journey, and it's just one step in the way, and you're walking it, and you're brilliant. So I'm sending you much love, and I'll see you next time.